What is up? Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason. Today we are back reviewing a new film that is streaming on. Was this on Netflix also? I can't remember.
No. It's
HBO
HBO Max.
Yeah, this one's on HBO
it's one of
Max.
those Warner Brothers ones.
Yeah, so new film that's streaming on HBO Max, and I'm assuming in theaters. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's in. I saw it in the theater. I saw it in the theater with my brother, and it's one of those. It's for on HBO Max for a limited time. For a month or so.
Got it.
Like all those other HBO Max ones this year.
Yeah, but as soon as they're off HBO Max, like the DVD or Blu-ray comes out, so which is kind of weird. So.
I don't know if it's as soon as because it's only on there for about a month. But I don't know when the Blu-ray comes out. But
they come out pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I already bought the Justice League one. Like most of the films, like they're coming out. Like I feel like they're just coming out a lot quicker than they used to on Blu-ray or DVD. It's just my overall interpretation. So, but
your interpretation is wrong, as usual.
The film is Malignant. And that's the film that we're talking about. So I say without further ado, we get right into it because we were talking about it and we never actually said what the film was. And I believe you're actually going to take this one on, Jason.
Yeah. Cool. So, like Malignant, if anybody has watched this show and paid attention, they know that I am a big horror movie fan. So I'm always going to be I'm always going to be there for, horror, most horror movies. Not every horror movie, but especially one, James Wan directed this, and he's definitely one of the most preeminent horror filmmakers out there right now. He got his start with Saw, which was a big hit, which is not one of my favorites, actually. I'm not a big fan of the Saw series, but, it was definitely, a cultural touchstone. And then he moved on to what's more my kind of movies, which are Dead Silence I liked, nobody saw it. Death Sentence I liked, nobody saw it. When he really hit was Insidious, because Insidious was a big hit, deservingly so. I loved it. And then he followed up Insidious with The Conjuring, which is even better, which is one of the best horror movies of the last decade, if you ask me. And then he also did The Conjuring 2. He did Insidious 2, but I love The Conjuring 2. And then, because he had all this steam, he actually branched out a little bit. He did like a Fast and the Furious movie, which is not really my thing. He did Aquaman, which was pretty good, but not really my thing. This was kind of his return to horror. He did not direct The Conjuring 3. Instead, he did this, which, for reasons I'll go into, is I think the right choice personally. Anyway, Malignant is about a woman played by Annabelle Wallis, who I'm not that familiar with. I've seen some of the films she's been in, but I don't, didn't make an impression in those films. I do think she's very good in this one. So basically, she is a woman in an abusive relationship, and this is a really hard movie to explain without getting into spoilers. I'll just put it that way. I'm just going to paint a very broad picture, but she is a woman in an abusive relationship who, let me say, it starts out, the very first scene is kind of like, what kind of movie am I watching here? But I'm not going to say what happens. And then it goes into this woman's story, and then basically she seems to have some kind of psychic connection to like a serial killer, And right away I like that kind of story because that's a very, like most of his other horror movies, they're kind of old-fashioned, like Conjuring, very 70s. This one has a very 90s aesthetic. Like it reminded me a lot of like crazy fast-cut, like 90s horror, like the House on Haunted Hill remake or something like that. It feels like those kind of like dark sky 90s films, which is cool with me. And the plot is very 70s, 80s. It's very like Italian horror, like the psychic connection with the serial killer thing. I like that. But that's all I can really say. I will say that's let's just say this movie has a twist that is gonna has been splitting audiences right down the middle. Like either you like me think it's an amazing twist and you see all the things that he's doing, like connecting it to like Dario Argento films, like Giallo films, with like the crazy, sordid, sick, twisted twist regarding who's the actual killer and what the backstory is. It's very Italian horror. It's very weird, avant-garde. And I love the fact that if you watch the trailers, it looks like another James Wan movie. You know what I mean? The trailers make it look like another Conjuring type, Insidious type movie, haunted house kind of ghost story. You know, with like the, you know, it looks like, oh, is this like a imaginary friend ghost story killer with, like, you know, the hair in the face? Like, okay, it's got a little some Japanese horror elements. It looks like another, like a movie like we've seen a lot of times if you watch the trailer. And all I can say is that it's not any of those things. But I would not research it more. I would just watch it and see what you think, because the twist, I think, is great. I mean, it's way out there. This is a crazy movie. I could not believe I was watching this in like a multiplex, because it's like some crazy 90s back of the video store on the bottom shelf, like who the hell thought of this kind of movie. It doesn't seem that way at first, but like about the halfway point, it just takes off into the stratosphere or into the gutter. It's kind of up to you. I loved it. My brother, I think, is still processing it. I think, you know, at one time he leaned over and told me that he thought it was one of the worst movies he's ever seen, and then by the end he took it back. So that's all I can say is that kind of movie, you'll have strong feelings one way or the other. I loved it. I think probably a lot of people will not know what to make of it, but you know, I loved it. It's my kind of thing. So, what did you think here? I'm honestly curious here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I kind of was like, I mean, I wasn't bad at your brother. I didn't ever thought at any point it was the worst film that I had ever seen, but it did take me a minute to process it, because it does have a lot of different twists and turns, and you don't know where the film's going to go, and it's a little weird, which, you know me, I'm not usually the biggest fan of weird. You know, when films kind of just take off, like you said, into the stratosphere, that's usually about the time the Kiera checks out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do weird too often. Like, if things get just too crazy and weird, it's usually not my jam. But I actually liked this one. I thought it was a good twist. I thought it was a good story. It was fun. And I was never bored. I was always engaged and interested to see what happens next, because it's one of those horror films where I have no clue where this film's going to go. I have no clue what's going to happen. And you know me, I'm always a big person that always usually says that I can usually predict a lot of the twists, you know what I mean? Sometimes we just did a review on another film that had a twist, and I saw that one coming, 10 minutes into the film. But this one, I had no clue where this film was going, because it just takes you in so many different directions and ways, and you don't really know what's going on. And they purposely interject certain scenes that would make it tough for you to even figure it out. You know what I mean? So it makes it really, really hard to know exactly what's going on. And I always hate even saying films have a twist, because I'm also the kind of person, whenever someone says that a film has a twist, I'm watching the film looking for the twist. You know what I mean? So I always hate even saying that, because I feel like that's almost a spoiler in itself. I feel like, you know what I mean? But I still do it.
Yeah.
Because I do like to just go into the film not knowing a whole lot about it, and not even knowing, because like myself, I didn't know that there were going to be twists in the film or anything of that nature. So, so it is nice to be able to go into a film and not know a lot about it. But the challenge with this film is hard to even explain a whole lot about the film without going into specifically what it's really about. But I agree with you. I feel like this is a film that it's best if you don't know anything about it, and just go into it and just watch it on its own merit. You know what I mean? Don't read anything about it. Don't read any reviews. Don't ask your friends about it. If you're interested in seeing a horror movie that you don't know anything about, then great. Just go into it and watch it and not know anything about it. That's pretty much how I went into it as well. I didn't read anything about it, and I purposely have tried not to read anything about films just in general these days, because I feel like they give away too much. And then I'm also kind of getting more like you, where I'm starting to not watch trailers as often, because some of these 5-minute trailers give away the whole film. You know what I mean? So I didn't watch the trailer for this one. I just, heard it was a big movie coming out, and saw that it was James Wan, and know what type of caliber films that he's done in the past, and know that he's definitely the horror guy to watch these days. You know what I mean? Between him and even more so him, but also lesser degree, but like Jordan Peele or something of that nature. Just one of those guys that are, did something, and now whenever they make a film, it at least piques my interest to say, oh, okay, he's doing another horror film. I wonder what that's going to be about. But this is definitely in line with a lot of the other really good ones. And, I love the first two Conjurings as well. Like you said, he purposely didn't do the third one in order to do this. I don't know. I wish he would have done the third one also, I guess. I mean, I do like The Devil Made Me Do It, but it's definitely a drop off from the first two. When I first saw the first two Conjurers, I actually kind of might prefer the second one over the first one in some different ways. But they're both kind of neck and neck for me. They're both really, really well done. And it just depends on the day of the week of that. But the third one definitely is a noticeable drop off. But this one is a good film all on its own. And, I wish he could have done the third Conjuring as well, because I feel like he could have improved on it than the other director. Not to slight any other director, but I feel like he might have been able to make it better than what it was anyways. Let's put it that way. So,
make it, as good as the first two, hopefully.
Yeah, as good as the first two, at least not that much of a drop off, you know what I mean? It definitely had that, that Godfather 3 kind of film where, you really love the first two. And then the third one, you're just like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, it was good. If it was its own film by itself, it would have been good. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about the Godfather 3. Like, if it was, like, if I didn't see the first two films and only saw the Godfather 3, I might have liked it a little more. You know what I mean? I still don't hate it, but, same with the Conjuring 3. If I only watched the Conjuring 3, I might have enjoyed it maybe. I don't know, but knowing that the first two were so good, this one was definitely a drop off. But this one's back and fold. Yeah. This one is Malignant is a really, really good film. It's got a lot of good scares to it. It's got a great, interesting story to it, like one that I haven't really seen, so it's definitely original, so I definitely enjoy that part about it, that aspect of it. And like you said, it's definitely one that I definitely would recommend anyone just go into blind and just check it out. So if you're into horror, of course.
Yeah, it's really gory too. I mean, it's a nasty movie.
Yeah, it's really gory, and like I said, and then I think that like you alluded to, it is splitting some audiences. I've looked at some of the reviews for it, and it is kind of a mixed bag in that regard. So not everybody is digging it. So I'm not going into it and saying that it's as good as The Conjuring or The Conjuring 2, or you're going to enjoy it as much as those two films, because this one's completely different than those films by far. Or even different than Insidious, which I wasn't as big of a fan of them as you were, but this one's definitely its own separate story. But it definitely is scary. It definitely has a really, really good parts, and like I said, I really enjoy it. I thought it was really good. So
yeah, I like that because he's made Warner Brothers like a bajillion dollars. Not just like The Conjuring 2, and then he even branched out with the Fast and the Furious movie and Aquaman. So he's made them a bajillion dollars. So I get the feeling it was kind of like he was using that as like now I've done all the, I've made your studio, I've made you all even richer. Let me do this weird off the wall passion project that is going to be totally
really wanting to do.
Yeah, it's a love it or hate it movie. I mean, it really is. Like when I saw it, I was, thoroughly enjoying myself, but there were people like leaving the theater halfway through, and it was just kind of like like I've said before, like to me, the more interesting movies are always the ones that are passionate responses, either pro or con. You know what I mean? Like as opposed to ones where everybody's just kind of like, yeah, it was okay, it was pretty good. I like, because I don't know. I just think that always makes for more interesting. It shows that it's doing something different. Because if it's doing something different, chances are you will either love it or hate it. Right. Whereas it's just kind of like passively, yeah, it was pretty good. I think that's, even when I'm on the hate it side of the equation, I can usually admit like at least it was doing something different. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But I was on the love it side for this one for sure.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not a long film. It's a little bit under 2 hours. But like you said, like the split, I mean, it's got a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, so critics more or less enjoyed it. But the Metacritic score is 50%. So right there in the middle, you know what I mean? So it's like
right in the middle.
That's like, people like loving it, and that's like people just absolutely hating it. You know what I mean? Which gives you that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's definitely one of those films.
So watch it. Yeah, watch it and find out where you fall on the equation.
Yeah. You know, are you cool or are you not cool?
Exactly. Are you cool or are you not cool? Like Kier over there.
Don't ever do that again.
Yeah.
Cool as ice, baby. Cool as ice.
It's Vanilla Ice.
Who is cool?
Which is not cool.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, anything else you want to add about Malignant? You really can't add anything else. So, but anything else that you would add about it? So.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
All right. Well, let's get into those reviews. And, sir, what is your overall grade and face you would give Malignant?
I loved it. I almost gave it a 4 out of 5, but I went with my enthusiastic gut feeling, which I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I loved it, which is of course a big smile. And I do intend to watch it again while it's still available on HBO Max for another few weeks, just to see, because I've heard that it plays even better when you actually know what's going on. So I'm curious to see. I'm sure there are a million like little subtle hints, in the first half. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays on that second viewing. But yeah, I loved it. I had a blast.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I actually gave it a 3.5 out of 5, which you'll say is my second highest grade that I ever give. Yeah. But so I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And I'm not as big of a horror guy as Jason is, but there's some action involved in there as well. It's horror, but it's also got a lot of action also, which I love also. There's a really, really good action scene in the prison. Is all I'm going to say. So there's a lot of action there.
Yeah.
So right up my alley.
Yeah.
And
it's just such a strange movie. Like it's even got like it starts with this totally off the wall scene, and then it drops you into this woman's life, and then there like these two cops that are straight out of like the X-Files, like a 90s TV show.
Right.
And the music is very
it's very 90s
corny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to throw a lot of people who are just expecting another, creaky hallway, Conjuring type movie. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. For sure. No, I agree. Definitely one that I will definitely rewatch again and definitely maybe even own. Who knows? We'll see. So, but yeah, no, great choice. So yeah, like I said, I gave it 3.5 out of 5. So that'll be a big smile with some teeth. And definitely one that like I said, definitely recommend if you like horror. I definitely recommend checking this one out. It is different. It is weird, and I do apologize that we can't really go into details about the weirdness of it or really the major plot focus of it because it just gives away too much. Unfortunately, it's just one of those films that But I like films like that where you can't really talk too much about exactly what it's about because you just have to go in and see it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah, I like those kind of films. So.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let us know down in the comments. Have you seen Malignant? Did you like it? Did you not like it? As always, if you like the channel, we ask that you like, subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification, and we'll be back again soon with another show for you guys. We thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. Bye.